All right, truth seekers. In keeping with what I talked about during the first half here about manufacturing ignorance, there's something going on right now that has always gone on with these filthy goddamn Republicans, and that is the idea that if taxes were raised on the wealthy in this country, not confiscatory taxes like we had during the Eisenhower years or even the Kennedy years, but just so these rich son of a bitches would pay their fair share, whether the rich son of a bitches are individuals or these money-grubbing, filthy, capitalistic enterprises known as corporations who do their best never to pay a goddamn dime to the running of the country where they have their home offices, their factories, their manufacturing plants. It is truly a disgrace. To the capitalists, it's a wonderful winning victory. Hey, we don't pay that shit. That's for little people to pay. We don't pay that. Well, Biden's plan to raise taxes for rich investors we're told by the right wingers that it's going to plunge the stock market. Oh, it's going to ruin the economy. Oh, it's going to be a job killer. All this bullshit that they always talk about. The stock market is supposed to be hovering near zero right now anyway, according to the orange piece of vomit down in Mar-a-Lago, who told his brain-dead followers, all 70 million of them, that the economy was going to sink into the toilet if Biden were elected. Gee, you dumb bastards, where's the sinking? The economy is roaring, thanks, by the way, to Barack Obama. The orange bastard was merely a blip in the economic upsurge. But I digress. As the Times reports, investors, the big money, the rich folks, are shrugging off Biden's proposal to raise taxes on investment income, capital gains, for wealthy Americans. Because among the reasons, the stock market right now is hovering near record highs after news was put out there by just about every economist in America, except a couple of filthy head-up-their-asses right-wingers, that this country is heading for a very strong economic rebound. And blockbuster earnings reports that came out at the end of the first quarter from technology giants, companies like Apple and Amazon. And the indifference of these investors, according to analysts, makes sense. Now, let me explain. Biden wants to raise taxes on the income that the country's richest households make from investments, the income, capital gains. And that money will be used to fund his plans for economic recovery and infrastructure projects. And the increases would apply to people with an annual income of $1 million or more. This is not that $400,000 income tax thing. This is capital gains. So people who have an annual income of $1 million or more and who are making money from capital gains, which means they're not doing a fucking thing to earn the money. They're not doing anything. The money just goes to corporations who manipulate it to their whatever degree they want to manipulate it and then pay dividends. Oh, fine. So this is passive earnings. In other words, the person who benefits from capital gains isn't doing shit. I mean, he's not, or she's not doing anything to earn it. So in theory, higher taxes on investments like stocks should make them less appealing. Because if you're going to invest in stock A and you're going to have to pay taxes on the money that you make, well, fuck it. Maybe you'll go to stock B, although that should apply over there too. But the outlook for economic growth and corporate profits is usually a much bigger factor in the decision to buy or sell or hold on to a stock or whatever. And in a resilient market, which we have now, higher taxes are even less of a deterrent toward investment. Now, this is absolutely counter to what these filthy Christian fascists keep pumping into the minds of Americans. Well, we have to defeat the Biden tax proposals that will go to fund a revitalization of this country and our education system and women in industry and women in science. And I mean, just on and on. We can't fund it, the Christian fascists say, because it'll cause the economy to tank. And here is the evidence to the contrary. And it doesn't come from Bernie Sanders. This information comes from the investor class itself. They don't give a fuck about a tax on capital gains, especially in an economy like the one we have now that is poised after a year and a half of lockdown to really move forward. It may be short-lived, but it's coming. Here's a quote for you from Lori Calvasina. She's head of U.S. equity strategy at RBC Capital Markets in New York. Yada, yada, yada. This is what she said. Quote, markets can grow and grow above trend, even if you're taking the capital gains tax rate up. That's not the silver bullet that will kill the bull market. The bull market, you understand that. So her team looked at what happens to the stock market when the capital gains tax rises. When the rate increased in past years, the team found the S&P 500 index rose roughly 11%. 11%. Now, let's put that into numbers that might someday, or maybe they apply to you right now. An 11% return on your money? Are you fucking kidding me? People will claw their way to an investment house to get in on that. But that's what's happening. She goes on, proposed increases to the capital gains tax can cause momentary wobbles as investors try to lock in the appreciation that's happening on current investments. But the market usually regains its footing and the shares climb higher. Higher. They don't stay the same. They don't drop off. They don't plunge into the abyss that is the filthy shithole of Donald Trump's brain or the Republican Party's bullshit that they put out there. No, no, no. An analyst at Goldman Sachs wrote late last year about the prospect of a capital gains tax under Democratic control in Washington. If Biden would win, this guy at Goldman Sachs said, quote, any potential equity selling will be short-lived and reversed in subsequent quarters. Well, of course, because if all of a sudden there's a lot of selling, what happens? Prices drop. What happens then? The investor class steps in and snaps it all up. This is why the cardinal rule, if you're going to be an investor, buy and hold. Don't do this bullshit of buying stocks. And when it starts to dip, oh God, I better get out. And people sell their stocks. And then it goes back up. And the people that got out are going, oh, fuck, why did I do that? Buy and hold. Hell, even I know that. But this is how the market seems to be behaving right now. Let me share with you what the Times had to say about it. The news on April 22nd that the Biden administration was considering lifting the tax sent stocks into the red. But the selling was limited. Stocks dropped just 0.9% for the day and bounced back a day later. By lifting the tax, I mean increasing it. Even after Friday's 0.7% decline. The market sat on a comfortable gain of more than 11% this year. The Standard & Poor's 500 was up 5.2% in April, its best month for the entire year. Now, compare that. I know that this is the topic, American capitalist economics and stock market bullshit that none of us want to get into. I don't like it. You don't like to hear it. I get that. Jesus Christ, I get that. But this is an example of the big lie of manufactured ignorance. This is what the Republican Party, the Christian fascists, are going to use to try to convince people, us out here in the unwashed masses, to notify our legislators, oh, don't vote for the Joe Biden Rescue America plan and infrastructure plan. Don't vote for it because it'll make the stock market crash. Not that I have any stocks, but oh. This is manufactured ignorance. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.